Good morning and welcome aboard to this session of Trade Along Live with Saul. Saul's going to be joining us shortly. Right now it's 9:26 a.m., a little bit before the cash open. It is March 10th, 2022. Everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing is to be taken as trading or investment advice. There are two opportunities here. One is to be part of this Trade Along Live session as a paid subscriber. TradeAlongLive.com is the link. TradeAlongLive.com is the link. It brings you in to register for this Zoom webinar, and then you can make a decision if you want to stay or not. But a nice group of traders in here. We appreciate you being part of our service. The up opportunity here is to work with Saul on a personalized level. He's a 25-year veteran trader of the trading pits in Chicago. He's actively scalping. He is a busy bee when it comes to trading the S&P 500 E-mini. He's available to teach you how to trade better if you're an experienced trader. Saul's forte is price action trading. Saul has learned over his 25 years experience to set key levels in the S&P 500 E-mini right around the cash open. He is going to give those levels out to everybody as a guide this morning. He calls them levels and zones. These are his actionable areas in his own trading that he's looking to take trades on. Entries, exits, and stops in and around these levels. So you can learn that from him in what we call the TradeAlongTradingAcademy.com, TradeAlongTradingAcademy.com. That's for a select group of traders that are interested in taking the next step here and really want to buckle down to develop consistent profitability. So join us. We're going to be getting underway here. Saul's going to join us shortly. Christoph, let me know what you're doing. So I have to exit you again. I want to do that. Richard A., let me know if you're paid. Patrick, same. Patrick C. Hey, Pat, how are you? Roop, Nuan, KG, Julio, Johnny Z, James, Glenn, Frank, Edward, Jeremy, let me know if you're paid. Dean, hey, Christoph, Carl, Anon. We got a few more people popping in here. I'm going to put it in the chat area for you to pay. See if I did that right. That should be out to everyone now. Oh, I don't think I did that right, so let me try to do it again. Everyone. Yeah, that's out to everybody now. Christoph, nice to see you. I don't want to have to give you the boot in like 10 seconds, so give me the high side. Dermy, let me know what you're doing. Patrick, Richard. Anybody else I missed? Dermy, Carl. Make sure you're signed up. Thank you. When Saul pops in, I'll give out this morning's levels. They'll be posted in the chat area. Everything's for educational purposes only. Must be taken as direct trading or investment advice. Hey, Don, how are you this morning? Everything here is live and fresh. Hey, George T. Hey, George, you're signed up, right, for Saul's friends and family. If I don't hear from people, I'm just going to disconnect you, so I want to make sure everybody's here for the right reason. Richard. Patrick. Hey, Johnny Z in the house. Glenn. How are you? Jeremy. Carl. The Hurl, how are you this morning? Hey, Patrick, are you a subscriber? I think you are, but I got to confirm it. Let's get on it now. Too long. Richard A, the same. Hey, Zahral, how are you today?
All right, good morning, everyone. Sorry, we're running just a little late here. Let's give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 42.29, 42.29. Support below at 20.09, 41.98, 85, 74. Resistance on the upside at 39, 47, 58, 70, and 82. Pivot 29, support 20, 09, 41.98, 85, 74. Resistance on the upside at 39, 47, 58, 70, and 82. All right. Well, we continue with the geopolitical situation, and also we had an inflation number coming out this morning, which was high, but in line with expectations. We're expecting 7.9, highest in like some 40 years, and it was 7.9, and doesn't look like there's going to be any amount of pullback from that number. As a matter of fact, I'm probably looking at it to continue to uptick a bit. So that doesn't really go too well for as far as the those are concerned for bond market, as well as obviously S&Ps here. Also, third round of negotiation were handled with the Russians and the Ukrainians, and there were no progress, so that did not help the continued push here to the downside overnight. All right, so that's where we're at, and that's why we're down here after a nice kind of, I don't know, maybe you consider it a dead cat bounce yesterday. I don't know, maybe. So we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens every day. Welcome to some of the new folks here. We are trading mini S&Ps, looking for opportunities to scalp the market. If you were with us yesterday and were patient, you got some good opportunities there against our levels that we gave out. And had to be patient. Very important to be patient, because the tendency is to want to get involved with this market, even though the numbers are flickering on the screen for you. The hard part to do is to settle down and be patient and wait for trading opportunity to present itself, and you can take advantage of it forthwith. So we like to average 4 to 5 trades a day. Obviously, these days we are averaging more than that. I think today we're looking still at about 5 points with our stops. I think it would be a legitimate number, especially if we continue to downtick. But we're retracing a little bit, so that's a little bit better, but still about 5 points I think would be doable. If you look at the chat box area, you will see the levels that are in the chat. And if you have any questions, please ask in the chat as well. I'll answer any questions you have. I have the chat box window up, and I'll be able to see your questions and answer them for you. Again, we are scalping the market here for about 5 points on our trades. And we seem to be getting those. It seems like a lot to some of us, but with the volatility that's in the market, and the sometimes you just there's a little bit of spillage as far as levels are concerned. So we're still going to be in the March contract. We're going to be turning over pretty soon. Not quite yet. Probably next week. I think next week probably. I mean, if they didn't do it, they're either going to do it. Well, the volume is definitely not today. That I can tell you for sure. It's either going to be tomorrow or next week one day. But it's definitely not today because there's no, let me look here. It's a little bit more. Maybe it is today. We're going to stick with March anyway. Let me see how the day turns out if more volume goes into the June contract. We might switch over then tonight, but there's going to be plenty of volatility in the March contract. We don't have to worry about the levels or anything like that not working out. And yeah, so we should be okay using the levels that we have. If it is today, I'll look at the volume in the June contract as the day goes on. If that picks up a little bit, then we'll switch over later. But we'll stick with the March today. So that should be, we should not have a problem trading the March contract. All right, we're right here at our pivot. Trying to decide, which way it wants to go at this point. All right, market just kind of drifting around our pivot area here, kind of trying to decide what it wants to do at this point. Let's see if we have any other numbers coming out this morning. Besides the CPI number, initial claims, and then that's about it. 1 o'clock, there's going to be a 30-year note auction that might affect the bond market, treasuries a little bit. So as far as any fundamentals are concerned, nothing much is going to hit the market today. But hard to think that the market's just trading on, going to be trading against fundamentals. We accept the inflation number is a pretty big deal to contend with. All right, so again, we are scalping using the levels we gave out plus price action opportunities. Again, patience is important, waiting for opportunities. Market is trying to figure out, what leg it wants to go on to next. Are we going to hold here? Are we going to rally? Obviously, the Ukraine situation, like I said yesterday, is going to be an answer to that question, whether they can come up with some kind of exit strategy for everybody, well, mainly for Putin to save face. And if that can happen, then maybe they can end this thing. Otherwise, it's not going to end. And obviously, there's going to be pressure on every aspect. Supply chain, you go to all of those same questions you had before. You have supply chain issues. You're going to have the oil situation. So there's no easy answer here. For at least for pressure on the market, we're still going to have inflation concerns with this market, even if they do figure out what's going on with the Ukraine situation. But that will keep us busy. So, in that sense, it's not so bad, I guess. All right. We're kind of a little range here. Nothing too exciting. Let's see what else we talk about here while we kind of wait for the market to give us some move one way or the other. Again, patience is very important in this game. You have to exercise patience, wait for the market to kind of give us an opportunity one way or the other. Investors witnessed a comeback for stocks on Wednesday with the S&Ps and NASDAQ gaining 2.5% and 3.5% respectively, though cautious sentiment is lingering due to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. While U.S. equities indices snapped a four-session losing streak and energy prices eased, stock futures fell again overnight, and that's where they're at right now. Some are calling yesterday's rally a dead cat bounce, while others are strongly buying into the dip. And whatever the case may be, traders should know that there is plenty of volatility out there. Oh, wow. This is, wow. I didn't know that. It's good to know. Let them trade one day, and we'll show them volatility. Another curveball could be on tap today for the Labor Department publishes the fresh CPI index data. The release is expected to show inflation coming in at a flaming 7.9%. February will be the last before the Fed gathers for its March meeting next week, before entering the FOMC blackout period. Chairman Powell said he planned to propose a 0.25% point hike, and some surprises may present themselves in the current environment. Meanwhile, as we come back down here to the pivot area, very, very kind of going nowhere fast kind of trade here. Got up to 36 and change up there, so be a little bit careful around the 39 if you're a little bit risk averse. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to jot them down in the chat. Meanwhile, the European Central Bank will gather today and is anticipated to stress flexibility in the face of stagflation fears. There are further bets that EU leaders will take action to limit the economic impact on Russia's invasion of Ukraine at a separate meeting in Versailles. Among the topics to be discussed are common debt issuance or maximizing the use of existing facilities to fund a collective response to the crisis, which is weighing heavily on the energy landscape in Europe. Futures plunged on Wednesday by most since November after the UAE ambassador to Washington said it would urge OPEC members to boost oil output before the energy minister dampened those comments over Twitter. So the ambassador got overruled by the energy minister. Looking to plug a gap made by its ban on the Russian oil, the U.S. is urging Saudis to release spare capacity and entertaining the idea of easing sanctions on Venezuela. Talks with Iran are also running into trouble in Vienna and could lead to more crude supply if a nuclear deal is struck with Tehran. About that one. That one's a close one there. Well, if you wanted to buy Amazon, you're finally going to get a chance to buy it, right? Going to 20 for 1 split. I'll make it more. 20 for 1. Jeez, could you imagine? It's crazy. After touching a record at $3,700 and change in November, the stock has fallen 26% to $2,700. Okay. That's a blow. Nobody can still afford to buy it, but hey, 20 for 1, it's doable. About $135. Anyway, this is how boring things are right now. I'm talking about Amazon stock. Hey, what can I tell you? We're in a little range here. I mean, yesterday the ranges did tighten up a little bit, on that rally, but we still, so it's a movement. It's a little bit quieter today. I think the market is kind of just trying to figure out, what the next move is going to be. Yeah, did you hear about this nickel situation? There's getting crazy in commodity markets as prices go into overdrive. The London Metal Exchange was forced to suspend all trading in the nickel contract on Tuesday, saying it won't reopen until March 11th at the earliest, as it's balance its books and return stability to the market. The cost of the 3-month nickel, the key pricing benchmark for global fiscal supply chain, shot up to $101,000 a ton on Tuesday, up from the $30,000 just a session earlier. See, it's crazy. I mean, that's just nuts. That's what happens with when you got electronic trading. You got these computers going in there, and I mean, what goes up 250% more? Almost 300%. And the reason that supposedly that they're closing it down, because some big billionaire who has this here it is. There is an unfolding story that reportedly involves the China's holding group, which the world's biggest producer of nickel used in stainless steel and EV batteries. The firm apparently made 4 nickel bets by building up a massive short position, and now faces an $8 billion in paper losses due to the influx of margin calls. It has since secured loans from JP Morgan and China Construction Bank. Nickel was already ripe due to the commodity rally turbocharged by the Ukraine situation, when the historic short squeeze pushed things over the edge. I'd say so. I mean, that is just a consequence of computerized trading. That's all I can tell you. It's just, and these algos see what's going on, and they just add on to the situation. And they got, $8 billion paper loss. $8 billion. I mean, it's insane. Oh, this has never happened before in history of the nickel market, really. Global head of a market analyst at some firm said, unprecedented is an overused word, but it actually is. The closest thing that I can come to this is the tin crisis of 1985, which pushed many brokers out of the industry and saw the London Metal Exchange suspend trading in metals for 4 years. Morgan Stanley is even saying that the effect of a nickel jump on electric vehicle prices and sales could be significant over the next couple of years. Of course it is. Of course. The remarkable rally in nickel prices has pushed the price of actual nickel, a 5-cent piece, way above its worth. Oh, wow. While only 25% of nickel is made from actual metal at Tuesday's prices, it could be worth 12.5 cents. There you go. You can sell all your nickels for 12.5 cents. Let's see if that'll be possible. As we are just bouncing around both sides of our pivot here. There's no economic reports coming out, so market is just kind of trying to figure out what it wants to do from here. Shut the metal down for 4 years. Well, yeah, I mean, if you can't come up with $8 billion, crazy, isn't that crazy? Crazy stuff. All right, we are back here at our pivot today. All right, kind of drifting a little both sides of our pivot. I don't know what's going to happen. Be very patient and make sure you keep your stops in place. That's all you could do. 10-year yield is at 193. They were hovering on. They're all over the place. 10-year the yields on a 10-year. 175 and back here to the 200 to 190 area. It's all over the place. Robert, welcome back. All right, so we're back here at our pivot. Yeah, I mean, for now. I mean, this is going to get worse before it gets better, I think. I hope I'm wrong. Then they're talking about the Russian. They're pissed off that they're doing this, so they want to nationalize all these companies that are closing down. That means take them over. It can get worse, a lot worse before it gets better. You get, like I said, the only way this gets better is if you find an out to save face for Putin. Otherwise, this ain't going to get better. And itself into a pickle here. And not looking good. I didn't think he thought he was going to, 2 weeks into this thing, not be able to, that he's getting so much resistance everywhere. And it's going to get worse. Like I said, the situation inside his country is going to get worse. You know, this is just the beginning. The only way this thing gets resolved is that he has an out. I don't know how that is going to be. An out that makes him look like he won. Or something like that. All right, it's coming up here to our 39 area. Again, like I said, you have to be a little bit careful there with the way it was trading just prior to that. And it's playing out that way. Not too surprising. And you have to watch the price action prior to it, kind of react to it, understand what's going on, understand that we might, because we stopped at 36 and change, we might run through a little bit. And I said, if you're more risk averse, you're not going to trade the level. So you have to definitely pay attention to the price action to help you determine, you know, how levels are going to work, and how you're going to adjust to them, how you're not going to adjust to them. Maybe you're going to cancel them. Okay. And if, like I said, and then if not, if you're adjusted a little bit, then maybe you're working the order in this level here. Otherwise, just wait. The next level we have is up here at the 47 area. All right, we're coming up here to the 47 area. All right, coming quickly up here to the 47 area now. Again, keep your stops in place. Don't want to get anything, don't want to have any of these moves. Could be for any reason, right? And just make sure you exit and look for the next opportunity. There's no reason to be squeezing any of this stuff, especially when they run on you like this. Okay, we're coming back down here for a little bit of a scratch if you still have them. And like I said, if you didn't like the price action, nothing wrong with getting out. Had these moves here because of whatever is going on in the background. The bond market kind of broke too. Hey, happen. That's why we talked about make sure you keep your stops in place and also understand that there's going to be some people talking all day long that's going to create some volatility, and or you're going to hit some just stops that's going to create extra moves. That's why we need to keep your stops in place. Yeah, well, whoever created that volatility was just joking. Anyway, again, make sure you keep your stops in place. We always talk about that, and this is a reason why. All right, rotating down here a little bit again. It got a little bit slippery up there. If you did hold on to the 47s a little bit, then you're getting paid off here a little. Obviously, it was a little testy up there on that quick move. If not, then we'll just be patient and wait for the next opportunity. Right now, support level would be around our pivot. This is amazing moves, right? Just go up and rotate right back down here, like they were just like nothing happened. All right, we're just coming back up here. Support right now would be back at the 29 area. Could we repeat the levels in the chat? There we go. Thank you there, Don. Hey, Don, you want to jump in here? You could do that anytime, you know.
Well, look on the bright side. If we don't have anything to talk about, we can always talk about the weather.
Well, that's true. That's true. We're gonna get snow this week tonight. We had 65, cold, now snow, wind chill tomorrow, Saturday. I mean, we're all over the place. 60s next week.
Yeah.
It's perfect spring weather for Chicago.
Well, we're going to be, let's see, they're talking, I think tomorrow down into the 30s.
Oh,
here.
that's
So-
wintry for you.
Yeah, so we're getting that same blast you're getting, except not as bad.
Yeah. Well, hopefully after next week, once we get through this weekend, the weather be springy again. So what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm just watching. I've shifted into the new contract, so.
Okay. We're about 10 points off there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right at 10 points.
Right. Usually I like to wait till the next day after.
Yeah.
I mean, the volume is
176,000.
yeah, there's still 620 in the March, so there's plenty of opportunity. It'll even out tomorrow, and then we'll be on it going forward. Crazy markets, right?
Yep.
Scary too sometimes, I'll tell you that much. You know, I mean, just look what happened in that nickel contract.
I know.
I mean, 300%. The thing closes at 30,000, and then it's up to 101,000, like the next day. It's like crazy.
Do you have any idea why oil fell yesterday?
Yeah, because they said that one of these OPEC ambassadors to the United States said that he's going to try to talk to they think that OPEC will lower, increase production. And that obviously kind of make up for some of the oil shortages that the Russia is, the sanctions they're putting against Russia to try to balance it out. So he said that in the middle of the day, and then the oil minister came out and said, no, that's not necessarily true. So the ambassador said that they want to increase output. He's going to talk to the OPEC countries, the other OPEC countries, and then the oil minister says, no, that's not true. So who knows? They don't even know. I don't know. They don't even know what's going on.
Why do I want to increase production to lower price when I can get all the money I can stand at this level?
Well, that's true, but except for one thing, they do get a lot of military equipment from the United States. And they do have. There's a reason for it, but they are friendly, supposedly friendly. But they do get a lot of arms. You want to have those arm deals, and they want to have their own army and own airplanes. So, one washes the other's back, supposedly. But we'll see. You're right. It doesn't make any sense for them to want to, but these numbers are also, I mean, they could go a lot higher, actually, so who knows?
I have no idea why they won't let us drill in the air. They offer a lot of leases, don't get me wrong, but the leases that they're offering or there's nothing underneath them. So why go out there and spend your money on something that that seismic activity is not there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, those oil companies spend a ton of money mapping out what's underneath there.
Right. Of course. Yeah. They definitely that's their job.
Offshore, we call it their seismograph boats, and they don't set charges anymore. What they do is they pull this, they let out about a mile or so of cable back there, and they've got this instrument in it. It works off high pressure air, and every now and then it just goes boom, and it shoots a shock wave down into the bottom of the ocean, and just like an explosion would, where they would drill a hole. And you can be underwater out there, and when one of those things go off, it's like somebody taking a sledgehammer and hitting you right in the chest. Just whoa. It doesn't kill you, but it's around, and it can be miles away.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll drag that thing in a grid out there all over that. It's mapped.
Oh yeah. Yeah, nowadays with the technology that they have, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, they can tell you about how deep, how much before they even stick a. And something else they'll do too is a lot, even way back there when we were working in the Gulf, is there was a lot of capped wells out there.
Mm-hmm.
That either they couldn't get a pipeline to it or couldn't do something, or they were just, one of their deals is they'll go in, they'll drill a hole, and they're liable to hit. Then they'll come out and they'll plug that hole. Then they'll pull off location, call it a dry hole, and that way it's 100% write-off.
Mm.
And then the next year they'll pull back over it and say, oh, we're going to work it over. So they'll work it over at a fraction of the price, put the screens in it, put everything on it, and it's a producing well now.
Mm-hmm.
But they got the tax breaks right up front.
This is why you come to this room. Look at the information we're getting. I mean, if you ever wanted to know anything about wells and drilling, there it is. There it is. We got to go to the source, man.
Yeah.
How many of these do you have on your property?
all mine are capped. I actually have a well out there that they drilled, but it's capped off. There's nothing there.
Huh.
And that's before I own the land too.
Okay. So you never know. There could be something there. Maybe they were just writing it off.
Well, there's probably something here, except they have to go so deep. And back then, the technology was not there to be drilling this deep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
you think about it, that that BP well that blew out, it was 2 miles to the bottom of the ocean, and it was another couple of miles down where the oil was. Well, you don't think about it, but you take that much drill stem, 2 miles of drill stem, and then another couple of miles of drill stem, how much weight that is to have to lift up and down. It's just an enormous, back then they didn't even have the capabilities to carry that much weight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's thousands of tons there, not hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Wow.
And so yeah, just to pump the mud down in the hole and to get it to return back to the surface is just, the mud pumps on that thing must be tremendous.
Well, like I said, where else could you get that information in the middle of the day except here?
Yeah. Yeah, Mark's not doing nothing, that's for sure.
No, he's worried about the sand and the beach.
Yeah.
All right, so just kind of floating back up here. They made that big run up and then came off. Now we're just trying, looks like it wants to rally back up. Who knows? Very goofy sort of market these days. What can I tell you? Going all over the place. Well, you could. Seems like you got a lot of money stashed away, so I don't know if you need any help at all.
Yeah, I hadn't figured this one out yet. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but stranger things have happened, I guess.
All right, we're kind of range bound up here, kind of bouncing around on this new level. We have support down at around the 29 to 30 area. Next level of resistance we have is up at 58.
Now, if you want to really get confused, take one contract and run it beside the other one. See if you can keep track of which one's doing what.
I have trouble just keeping up with one. You want me to keep up with two? I mean, so you're just trading the June contract?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm trying to figure out what this thing does. They'll operate separately right now, but at some point in time, like I say some point in time, I'm talking about probably tomorrow morning at 8:30. This thing makes an adjustment, and I'm trying to get used to this adjustment on these charts. And
What kind of adjustment are you talking about?
well, this is the charts are continuous. So say we're trading right now on the March contract up at 46, and we're trading down at about 37 on the June. Well, say this thing is where it's going to open up in the morning. And in the morning, it'll jump from the March contract to the June contract, and there's going to be a 10-point spread in there, but it's going to open up somewhere in that 10-point range there on the chart. So the charts are continuous, but it's going to show a line that we went from the old to the new, and then it's going to keep on going, and or it's going to back up and add to the it's just like you've been tracking the March contract the June contract forever. And it's kind of like, okay, there's something going on here. Now I know it's in the computer and the way it's looking at what, but I'm not sure how it's doing it. It's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. Well, you do that.
And
no, I think that eventually, before the contract expires, they match up.
Yes, they are.
Okay. So it's just a matter of, and then it's really a theoretical match, because if you look there's like hardly no trade. If you look at the bond contract, the March to June bond contract, there's like no trade right now, even though, the prices will match up at the end of the day. But as far as how to figure it out right now, I can't help it. I don't know. I don't even know why you want to even try to get it.
Well, what ends up happening is I'm sitting here looking at the March, and everything's hunky dory. But tomorrow, when I shift into the new one, there's a lot of these areas like, what happened to my numbers that I knew was up there? They just disappeared on me. And you go back and add the other contract, and there they are. You bring in the new one, and it's kind of like, okay, it recalculates. So the new one is going back in time, and I'm going, okay. It's like tomorrow we're probably going to end up with about a 10-point difference between the SPX and the E-mini.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get closer to expiration date, like coming into March, we're probably about a point back right now. So by the time next week gets here, they're going to be right on top of each other, one for one.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, okay. And I know there's a reason for it. It's just that I don't understand it and know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's just a technical reason.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not technically versed, so I can't. That one I can't answer. I bet you the guys who can answer are the guys who do the spreads.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I never got into the spread thing. So.
Well, I figured it was the guys that were running the big basket programs.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I can't tell. I don't know. I don't even want to guess as to why, because I just don't know.
Yeah.
And I would be guessing, to be honest with you.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. I try to, it's bad enough that I have to try to figure out, sometimes where these levels are. That's
keep
hard
it simple.
Yeah. Let's just try to keep it simple. Yeah. But the market's been, the levels yesterday worked perfectly. If you were trading us, they were, especially in the afternoon, they were really good. I was out I had to leave and come back, and then I traded the last hour. We got the high there perfectly and traded off very nicely. I don't know. You were gone, I think.
Oh, yeah. I was shooting for my 80.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. And then we got up to the 90. What do we have? 91. Got right up there. And then, yeah. I think you would have done okay.
And I'm going, this just aggravates me. I see these levels, then it takes 3 days to get back to them.
Mm.
It's kind of like,
And 200 points.
yeah, the drawdowns are tough.
3 days and 200 points.
It's going to be so slow when we move back in. These 5-minute bars get to 2.5 3-point bars.
Yeah, well, let's see. Some part of me wants me to get there because of the turmoil that this is creating. The geopolitical situation. The other part of me likes the trade, but this is not sustainable.
Yeah,
this is not. It's not whatever normal trade is. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Coming back down here, I got no feel today. I don't know what's going to happen today.
I'd have thought we'd have went a little lower than that 20.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what yesterday's trade was. Was it one of those dead cat bounces, or was it actually are we going to continue to rally? Again, I think at the end of the day, it's all going to depend on the Russia situation, how they're going to be able to resolve it.
294. What was the high yesterday?
95, 96, 98. Yeah,
98. Well, it looks like we got to go back to that 98, but.
Oh, yeah, retest. I mean, I think it could go back up to this spike here.
Which one?
325. This one right here from was Monday. The Monday.
Yeah, Tuesday the high. Yeah, yesterday's high.
Monday's high.
Monday's high. Okay.
Overnight. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. It's a big range. I mean, you got 200 some points.
When you look at it, it doesn't really matter because we got to trade what it is.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I'll tell you what, it's really tough. It's going to go someplace, but it doesn't have to do it in the next hour or day. And it just beats you up trying to get there. Mm. You're in a trade, you get out, and you made a little bit, but you were looking for that big score, and that big score just wears you out, and it's not worth it.
I know it's not worth it because you're going to get stopped out. The drawdowns are tough.
Well, you really can't go into any drawdowns. You have to just get in. If it goes against you, get out and reposition.
Right.
And,
right. I mean, that's it. I mean, you can't let these things run. They'll keep running.
Yeah. For days.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not worth the aggravation.
Yeah. That price of being right kind of sucks pond water.
You will be right. It's just a matter of when the trade, when the day comes.
Yeah.
But if you're having a bad day, you should just accept it and just wait for that good day. And I know it's tough to figure out, but it is what it is. This is the business we're in.
But
not going to be right.
If you trade what it's doing, it usually does it, and you're usually on the right side.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally, except when you have outside influences. Yeah. This is what we got these days, and everybody's nervous. I mean, this is a nervous trade. Like this rally we had here, it was a nervous rally, and then it completely came right back down. When they don't follow through on something, that they were just nervous. it hits some stops, and then they don't know what to do from there.
What was I reading the other day? It says, the hardest, there's two things that you really need to be able to do. One is to have the patience to wait until your setup is there. And the other is to believe in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
Have the
confidence.
Yeah.
Right. For sure. That's this is what this this is what this business is all about, right? You can't be scared to put on the trade.
Yeah. You just have to
believe in it.
Yeah. The system says, okay, we should be going up. Well, the only way to really find out, you can sit and watch it go up, but you don't make any money.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ones is, if you're here to make money, the most important part is, where am I wrong? Like you said, where's my out?
Yeah.
I think that ought to be the first thing they teach is where's your out?
Yep. Yeah, you're right. That should be the first thing they teach, and then stick to it.
Yeah. Then the problem with that is my out's not necessarily your out. So.
Right. Everybody's got different outs. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you have to find the thing that's comfortable for you.
Yeah.
As an individual trader. So we harp on these things because they're very important. They're, I think, keys for the key. I think the key is to always make sure you come back the next day. That's the key. So if you can do that, and we're giving you reasons to do that, getting out, looking for next opportunities, having confidence in what you're doing, those are all important aspects of trading. Since you're here, that's what we're trying to do on an everyday basis. So they had the inflation number that came out today was finally within high expectations, but didn't get above it. So that's, I guess, a good thing.
Did it go up to 7? Did they figure 7%?
7.8. That's what they were expecting, and that's what it came in at. So it's going to be higher, especially with gas. That the gas prices over the last week and a half have gone nuts.
I know. They one day we passed the stations and they were $3.49. The next day they're at $3.79, and I have no idea where they're at today.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. They're out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going up. Let's say they went up 50, 60 cents. They went up 20% in 2 days. I mean, it's not normal. Definitely not normal. But hey, what are you going to do? That's what we're at. It's the environment we're at right now.
But I get really tickled at Biden. He flies home every weekend. I'm saying, until you can walk, ride a bike, or stick horses, don't talk about going green.
Yeah, well,
you got 3 helicopters running.
Well, he is the president. They do get special perks.
I'm telling you. And I saw on the news, Trump must have not paid his fuel bill. His plane had to come back down.
Had to knock his plane down.
I told the wife, I said, the Democrats did it. I don't know why anybody in their right mind wants to be president.
There's too much. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a power thing. He's been in office forever, though. So, I mean, he was, I mean, it was just his time, I guess. But I don't know. It's all a power thing. It's all a money thing.
Well, if this Russian thing didn't teach us but one thing, is look, we don't really want one person in control.
No, I mean, he's really shaken down the whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to me, actually, that they're all so scared of him. And I think that's the part I'm having trouble understanding. It's like every time he makes a threat, there's we're not going to. Oh, he's threatening to use a nuclear weapon. So he's threatening to attack this, or he's threatening to attack. I mean, really? So if deterrence, if a threat is deterrence, so they should have done the same thing when they built up that army on the border. They should have built up their army in Ukraine or around them and say, look, you better not do this because we're going to, throw it right back in his face. Instead, he's bullying everybody.
Yeah. You know what? He's got to. He's not totally stupid. He's got to realize that there's not going to be a winner in a nuclear war. Period.
No, there isn't.
And both sides are going to get hammered. So, and then when you radiate everything, the land that you've conquered is about worthless. So I don't understand. But it is, if he can stand up there and bully everybody and get away with it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
The only thing I am sure of is the older I get, the less I understand.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true for sure. All right, we're drifting slowly down here to the pivot area. If you're so inclined, I mean, I have no opinion. Like I said, I really don't have one feel. I don't have a feel for this one way or the other. So as we're coming down here to our pivot, kind of just doing its own thing. A little support here, but nothing, not jumping on it. All right, we're drifting down here. Maybe go get to the 20 area now, I guess. I don't know. They just kind of gave up and bonds rallying. So that's still happening as we continue to downtick, looking for the 20 area.
These moves are so big and so fast.
I know. And then there's really no real logic behind them. They just kind of go through support, go through some resistance, and then then they just stop. That's why you have to put your stops. So whatever trade you're going to put on, you got to put your stop in there because they just happen. These moves just happen. Sometimes there's no logical reason for them.
What time do the bonds open up in the mornings?
It's 7:20.
7:20. Okay. What it's Eastern time?
No, Central.
Central time. Okay.
Yeah, they open up when there's it used to be 8 o'clock, and then they want it to be open when the economic reports are released at 7:30. So they changed it to 7:20.
Because I see a lot of activity going on around 6 in the mornings.
Yeah, well, you get well, right now there's a lot of stuff going on. 6 in the morning probably relates to sometime in the afternoon in Europe. So, you know, they had the what do you call it? The Fed's European Fed ECB had their meeting, and they were coming out with a decision on interest rates. So probably created a little volatility there today in the bond market at 6 o'clock.
When is our Fed supposed to raise interest rates?
Next week is the meeting.
Next week.
I think so.
I thought they already decided.
Well, it's in the works. They just haven't made it official.
Oh, okay. At the rate things are going, I don't think a half a point's going to do the job.
Well, the problem is that they're stuck now because you know, they would usually, when a crisis like this happens, you're lowering rates, but they are.
When you're at the bottom, you can't go.
You can't lower rates when you're at the bottom, and you know, you lower. This is where you're having. This is why they're unstuck, because they need to control inflation. They control inflation by raising rates a little. So that was the deal before, and then this thing happens with Russia, and now it's like this is like worst of the worst is happening right now.
Yeah.
And that's why you're worried about stagflation, you know. So everything's coming to a head right now. But look, you know, like somebody said, that there was a lot of savings during the pandemic, right? And well, that's why the stock market was technically going up, because people were putting their money in because everybody had so much money. Well, you know, now they got to go into their savings, and whatever money they were saving is going to be eaten up by this mess that we're in.
What one of the analysts that was on TV the other day walked in, and she was talking and said that the market was overvalued by $48 trillion, and we've lost $7 trillion of that. So she said we still have a ways to go. Going, oh man.
Yeah, you love these people who come up with these numbers.
Yeah.
You know, overvalued by $42 trillion. Yeah. Okay.
48.
48. That's amazing.
I know I had a guy come in the other day, says, February was not a good month. I lost $100,000. I'm going, oh man.
Yep. Yeah. There's all kinds of people out there trading.
That was it. All he does is he just buys stock and holds on to it. You know, through the years it's been real good, but
well, like you know, it's like it's all timing, right? I mean, you could buy the bottom and be okay, or you can buy it and you don't know it's the bottom, and you're going to take a little bit of a drawdown. At the end of the day, though, you know, look, I mean, even Amazon is down 25%.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, some of these companies are going to be hit by these moves. There's no doubt about it.
We're starting to see problems in the supply chain here. Things like tires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything's going to be affected at some point.
Yeah. You don't hear much about the truckers going around the loop there in Washington.
No, I mean, they're complaining about wearing a mask, but all the mask mandates are gone everywhere. So they're a day late and $1 short, I guess.
One thing about them is, used to when you pulled up to a diesel pump and, you were looking at 3 to 350 gallons to fill up an 18-wheeler. And, that's close to $1,000 or better now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, more than that. Well,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man.
Yeah, well, I mean, but hopefully that's why it costs a lot of money on these trucks to move things around. And you can't even get the truck drivers to do it because I guess it costs them too much. How much you get paid for each load that you carry?
Yeah, it is.
Like I said, I have no feel for this today. There's none.
If I said anything, I'd be guessing.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm not saying anything.
This guy.
It's got no feel for this.
Oh, well.
Always tomorrow.
That's right. If I don't trade today, tomorrow's a new day.
All right. And we'll switch over tomorrow morning, I guess. I'll do it tonight.
Let's see. We're coming up on 10 o'clock. We're at 233,000 right now on the new.
Yeah, it's finally picking up a little bit there.
So
You always
normally
get
by 10, we should be what, around 500?
Yeah, we're over that right now. We're 800 now almost.
For the old one?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was it's John Parsons, the guy that developed, what do they call them? The Person pivots.
Mm-hmm.
I'd read his book one time and I said, that sounds like a good way to do it. It kind of gives you an idea. Well, the market don't always go to those pivots, so they don't do you a whole lot of good.
No, not these markets. Again, these markets and it's the algos and it's the computerized trading that's creating the volatility that you have to keep adjusting your concepts and ideas to the volatility. And that's why we try to here every day by making sure that we tell you, what your stop should be based on the volatility. Because any ideas, 90% of the trade is when it's calm and everything is normal, whatever that means, right?
Yeah.
So when you come up with these, different ideas, they're there for normal trades. But when you get hyperactive or hyper crazy markets, then all those ideas go out the window. Very tough to try to quantify those concepts and ideas to crazy markets because they throw all the rules out.
Yeah.
And that's why we have our set rules. You just put your stop in place and then let's see what happens. We did okay yesterday. I got no feel for it today. So day before, we've been doing all right the whole week, I think, with our levels and everything. So we got run over here a little bit today, and now we're just stuck in this little range.
Well, our VIX came down to 32 this morning. That's where we're at now. But even at 32, this thing's still moving around.
Yeah.
I know usually when the VIX drops, all this thing does is seem to go up.
Yes, that's true. They suck the volatility out of the market when when the markets goes up.
Is there a certain time frame that you should look for to see this volatility to fall during a morning session?
You mean lessen a little? I think after the after like 11 o'clock till 1 o'clock.
Okay.
You go a couple hours there. People go get lunch, of course, unless there's something going on. But for those couple hours, things do settle down a little. At least they suck some of the. That doesn't happen all the time, but I think a lot of times you'll see the volume is decreases from the morning, and if you're going to have a lull, it's going to be between those times, because then they come back and trade the close.
And what I'm seeing is the guys into the close, I guess, the last hour, 2 hours, they're really positioning themselves for the next day.
Well, the last, they're either some of them like take positions all morning, and maybe they're either getting in or they're getting out of position. So that's part of it. Others are maybe positioning themselves for the next day. And so and then a lot of them are just closing out positions based on where the market is at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of a lot of things.
Can you tell by the price action on what they're kind of doing?
I don't think so. If you notice the last like 5 minutes, the volume spikes.
Yeah.
High. And it could be going one way, it could be chopping around. It's hard to figure out what they're doing, especially because it's happening so fast you can't even see it.
Yeah. And you don't have a way to say, well, there's so many sold, so many bought.
Right. Yeah, they're just telling you what's traded.
Yeah.
But if you know that a lot are traded at one price, you know that there's stuff going on. Right? You can't even see it. That's how fast it's going.
Yeah.
I think the other day they were making a high or a low, and then you look at the contracts that were being traded. It was like 10,000 contracts all of a sudden traded at one price. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Whoa. All right, we're just kind of hanging here. Went down below our pivot, came back now here above our pivot. It's kind of just very, very not happening kind of trade today.
I know it seems like this market goes and it's one way to about 2:30, then look out.
Yeah, I mean, it depends also if they're going to go up or down, because let's say you're making a high or a low, and then maybe they're going to take some, like yesterday afternoon, they made those highs, and in the last half an hour they were taking some profits, from that rally all day, from the day before. So you never know how they're gonna. I don't know. I can never. The only thing I know that's not so good sometimes is that if they close on a low or close on a high, usually you have a follow through
the next day.
Yeah. So sometimes, especially when you're making a new low or a new high. So you
Now,
might have a little follow.
When you say the close, you're talking about the daily close or the close of that hourly bar?
The daily close.
Yeah.
I mean, there will be the hourly bar at the end of that day. Yeah. I mean, it has to be the close at about 3:15.
Okay. And now, since they've changed these hours, that's going to be null and void here pretty soon if it's not already.
Yeah, but they're going to stick with the close still. I mean, that's the one thing, even though there's no opening at the S&P pit, there's still an opening. Everybody waits till 8:30.
Yeah.
Same with the bonds. The bonds open at 7:20. A lot of just traders wait for the 7:20 area, and then they start trading. So even though I think it's in the mindset. It's behind the curtain that everybody waits for that 8:30 to start trading.
Yeah.
And then even though the market is open after 3:15, but that's the close. And so it's weird how that works, especially because it's electronic trading, but it's there. It does.
That's because of the big S&P pit.
Right.
Big S&P, yeah.
Right.
And that's going to just about lead everything.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, yeah, at the time, it's not there anymore because they only traded that on the floor. So it was leading. And the reason that they had it was because, these big institutions need to trade the size so that they can cover their portfolios. I mean, the S&P, this mini is 1/5 the size of the big.
Yeah.
So, if you can trade 100 lot versus a 500 lot, it's a little easier. Your commissions are less, and not that these people care about commissions, but maybe you get a better fill also. Instead of, if you have to try to sell 500 and instead of 100, you probably get a better fill with 100 than you would if you had to do 500. So, I mean, but they did it because the institutions needed the size to get done. But then they got smart, the exchange, and made the mini so more people can get into it. And then they even got smarter. They think they got smarter and made the micro so that more people can get involved in it. Right. Even though like I said, so they're just doing it to make money, the exchange. But the contract was definitely made for 500 for institutions because they're the ones that are. But as the age of electronics got better and commodities you could trade them at home. Anybody could trade them. They're making these like quasi smaller contracts for everything. They're making it for bonds too, so that everybody can trade.
The micro's only traded 27,000 in the new contract so far. It's slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say, it really doesn't matter what it does. You just have to trade what it is and just.
Right. I mean, you just have to find your spots, pick your spots, and be patient with them and just wait for them to get triggered. Otherwise, we're coming down here to the 20, see what it wants to do here. But yeah, I mean, that's all we can do as a trader, right?
Yeah. I thought we should have rotated down to that 17 level last night, but we didn't quite make it.
Mm-hmm. All right, getting a little bit of rotation here against the 20 area. So what's the June trading at 10 right now?
1225, 1250.
Okay.
So we're about 10 points. It needs to go to 7, and the March needs to go to 17. Its low was 11. Got about a 9-point spread on it. It's fluctuating between 9 and 10. The big S&P's at 23 and a quarter, 23.50. So we've got our 10-point spread on that one. Come on. It may be shooting for that 1150 area. I don't know. At 17 may stop it dead. Now you hate to sit in a trade too long because they can whip this thing right back around and run it right back up. I got to give those guys credit that can get in a position and hold it all day.
Yep, it's just one of those days. You said, we're going to hold on to it too long. It's just not giving us that rotation we're looking for. All right.
Now we get to see what that 16 area is going to do with it. I cannot imagine us not getting at 11, at 11, 12 area. It's then made its way all the way down here, but this thing can just stop and rotate.
Yeah, very, very tricky little market here today. Like I said, I have no feel for it. Something's continue to be something's continue to be true. I have no feel for it.
I know that I had a bunch of lines on this chart based on what it did the last contract and same time frame, but the bars have all changed, so the lines are all wrong. it's kind of, I hate rollover. It's kind of like go back to square one.
Yeah, I can tell you, it's not your favorite.
It just seems like for about the week before and the week of, everything gets squirrely.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing makes any sense. Those basket programs are going to settle out and they know where that price is going to be. And usually you can tell which way it's going to end up by watching the option market, because all of a sudden you see this big buy for these out of the money calls or puts that are almost worthless. Then all of a sudden the day of the expiration, they're all worth $1 a piece.
Right, that could be. All right, Don, I'm gonna take a little time off here. I'll take the rest of the day off because I have some stuff to do. So just let's be patient here, cautious, and wait for the market to give us our opportunities, and make sure you keep your stops in place. There are the levels for us, and get back here in a bit. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
Hey, a couple quick shout outs and programming notes. Want to welcome those coming in as guests today. Welcome aboard. I do have an opportunity for you to sign up at a discount. Just raise your hand if you haven't signed up. Hey, Dermy, let me know. Mauricio, let me know. Nuwan, Patrick M. Hey, Phil. Richard A. Hey, Anand, how are you? I'll send out to everybody the opportunity. I have it here somewhere. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Here's the subscription information for this daily Zoom trade along. What a great trading morning. Jeremy, what are you thinking? Let me know back in chat. Mauricio, I know it's your first time today. Just give me a quick hi sign that you're tuned in. Newen, let me know. Patrick M. Let me know what you're thinking. Phil V. Philip O, how are you doing today? Richard A. Hey, Robert, did you get a chance to look at what I sent out to you? Just let me know if you're there, Robert. Hey, Roop, Zahurl, Edward. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. TradeAlongLive.com, TradeAlongLive.com. Join us on a daily basis. TradeAlongLive.com will bring you into the registration for this Zoom Trade Along webinar, and then you can decide what to do from there. If you're interested in learning how to trade, let us know. We have a setup in Trade Along Trading Academy that'll give you an opportunity to learn directly from Saul. Saul is a veteran of the trading pits in Chicago. He's been trading for 25 years or so. He has a talent in the S&P 500 E-mini, a price action trading strategy. He can take you under his wing, teach you, mentor you to do this on a daily basis. So let us know how we can help you. TradeAlongLive.com.